Nick Marshall is an advertising executive who has always believed he understands women completely. He grew up in showbiz dressing rooms, raised by a showgirl mother surrounded by performers who treated him as their mascot and lucky charm. The result is a man who has spent his entire adult life charming women effortlessly and taking it entirely for granted. Every morning his housekeeper, whom he casually calls Babe, arrives to clean up after the previous night's disorder, while Nick gets ready for work at whatever time suits him. At the office, Nick is respected and well-liked, and has been building toward a promotion to creative director. His colleague Morgan and his secretaries are already congratulating him before the meeting. Then his boss Dan delivers the news. The promotion is going to a woman. Consumer sales are now dominated by female buyers, and the company needs leadership that reflects this. Dan has brought in Darcy McGuire, a highly regarded advertising executive who recently left her previous firm. Nick is not delighted by this outcome. Adding to an already complicated day, Nick attends the wedding of his ex-wife and learns that their daughter Alex will be staying with him while the newlyweds honeymoon. Nick and Alex's relationship is strained, and neither of them is particularly enthusiastic about this arrangement. When Darcy arrives at the office, she takes over efficiently and immediately, handing each team member a box of women's products: nail polish, wax strips, pantyhose, moisturizers, and assigning them the task of developing a marketing campaign for one or all of these items by the following morning. Nick, who has always assumed he understands women intuitively, has no idea what to do with any of it. That evening at home, with wine in hand and his confidence fading, Nick digs through Alex's things and finds a pop music compilation. He drinks more, commits to the experiment, applies a cleansing strip to his nose, works mousse into his hair, puts on mascara and nail polish, and decides to wax his leg. The pain is significant. He then squeezes into a pair of pantyhose. Alex returns home at this point with her boyfriend, and a fight erupts. She tells Nick he does not care about anyone but himself, and that he does not even know her boyfriend's name. Determined to prove her wrong, Nick suddenly recalls the name, rushes to tell her, steps on a container of bath beads, slips, and crashes headfirst into a full bathtub. The hairdryer he was holding falls in after him. The shock knocks him unconscious until morning. Nick wakes up and goes through his usual routine. His housekeeper is grumbling as always. Except when Nick mentions what she said, she insists she said nothing. Flo, the hotel doorman, cracks her usual joke. Except Nick hears the punchline in his head before she opens her mouth. Walking through a crowd of women on his way to work, the realization arrives with terrifying clarity. He can hear what women are thinking. Every thought, all of them, at once. At the office, the mental noise is overwhelming. His female colleagues' thoughts flood in without pause, and none of them are flattering. The polished, charming image he has always projected crumbles as he hears exactly what people actually think of him. He notices Erin, the quiet document courier, whose thoughts are dark. She feels completely invisible and is contemplating something that alarms him. Strangely, the only relief comes from his two secretaries, whose minds appear to contain absolutely nothing. Nick confides in Morgan, who assumes it is one of Nick's jokes. Morgan drags him to a meeting led by Darcy. In the meeting, everyone pitches marketing ideas for their assigned products. Nick falls back on instinct and suggests a waterfall and a woman to sell lipstick. Before anyone responds, he already knows exactly what his female colleagues are thinking about the idea, and it is not good. He pivots rapidly, borrowing a thought he overhears from a colleague, a woman who takes aspirin not because she has a headache, but to avoid intimacy with her husband, and pitches it as the concept. Darcy acknowledges the creativity, but is not particularly impressed. Nick knows he bombed. At home that evening, Nick ruins Alex's night by demanding her date leave, then repeats the entire product testing routine from the night before. This time he takes a hairdryer out onto the balcony during a thunderstorm with the explicit intention of short-circuiting his new ability. Lightning obliges, strikes the dryer, and knocks him out again. In the morning, he races to the nearest place with women to test whether it worked. The thoughts are still there. He heads to his old couple's therapist, who, rather than being alarmed, finds the situation extraordinary. She tells him this is not a curse. This is a superpower. Nick does not need to hear it twice. He immediately begins applying the ability in every direction. He learns what Lola, the barista he has been charming for months without success, actually wants in a man, and gives it to her so precisely and effortlessly that she agrees to a date on the spot. At the office, colleagues who previously rolled their eyes at him are suddenly charmed. His confidence rebuilds rapidly and takes on a sharper edge. He fixes his sights on the real challenge, Darcy and the Nike contract she has been brought in to win. Nike is expanding into women's apparel and needs an advertising campaign to match. Nick positions himself as Darcy's collaborator on the pitch and then uses what he hears in her thoughts to voice her best ideas before she can, presenting her creativity as his own contribution while she watches, impressed. He takes Alex shopping for her prom dress as promised. Things between them are improving. In the dressing room, he overhears something that stops him. Alex has decided to sleep with her date after prom. He tries to sit her down for a serious conversation. She shuts it down immediately. Her mother has already covered everything, and she sees no need for Nick to start playing the involved parent now. He ends the evening frustrated in front of the television until Darcy calls, and on impulse he invites her out for drinks. Over cocktails, she opens up about her divorce. She and her ex-husband worked together, and after the split, remaining at the same company had become impossible. The evening ends with a kiss. She had wanted to invite him inside, but hesitated. He cut her off mid-thought before she could say it. Back home, Nick finds Lola waiting. She has spent 6 days trying to understand why he has not called and has arrived at the only conclusion that makes sense to her. No straight man could possibly understand a woman that well. She is quietly asking him to just confirm it so she can move on. Nick takes the exit she has offered and confirms her theory. She leaves satisfied with her own conclusion. At work, Nick keeps hearing Erin's thoughts. She still feels invisible. Still feels like no one sees her. He asks his secretaries about her and learns she once applied to be a copywriter at the company. Her application was dismissed without being read. Nick discovers that he was the one who dismissed it. This lands heavily. The Nike presentation goes flawlessly. Darcy insists Nick should deliver it, and he does, despite knowing that most of the ideas originated with her. Nike signs on. That night, weighed down by what he has done, Nick begins writing a message to Darcy intending to confess. But before he can finish, she appears at his door and invites him to see her new apartment. They spend the evening together, and whatever is between them becomes undeniable. The morning after, Nick walks into the office carrying something unfamiliar, something that actually feels like happiness. Then Dan delivers the news. Nike has signed, Darcy has been let go, and the account along with the creative director position now belong to Nick. The reward he has been angling for since the beginning of the film has arrived. Nick argues that Darcy was the reason the campaign worked, that she was the one who earned this. Dan is unmoved. Nick leaves the office determined to find Darcy and tell her the truth. But before he reaches her, another situation surfaces. Erin has not come to work and nobody has heard from her. Nick changes direction and goes to Erin's apartment. A flash of lightning hits a nearby transformer as he walks, and something shifts in him. He finds the door ajar, an empty pill bottle, and a farewell note. His stomach drops, until Erin appears behind him holding a tennis racket, ready to defend herself from the unexpected visitor. They talk. Nick realizes something with certainty. The ability is gone. He cannot hear her thoughts. The silence is complete. Without the ability, without any advantage, he tells her he wants to hire her as a copywriter. He should have done it years ago. She agrees. Nick spends the rest of the day trying to reach Darcy, but her assistant blocks every call. His ex-wife calls. Alex has been crying all night. Nick drives to the prom venue. Alex has locked herself in the bathroom. Her date ended things the moment she chose not to sleep with him. She is humiliated and heartbroken. Nick sits outside the door and tells her she made the right call. He takes her home. She falls asleep. He cannot. In the middle of the night, Nick goes to Darcy's apartment. When she opens the door, he tells her everything. That he used her ideas to try to edge her out. That he let his ambition override his integrity. And that somewhere in the process of trying to outmaneuver her, he had fallen in love with her. He is not performing any of this. He has no ability to fall back on, no inside information, no advantage of any kind. It is just him, telling the truth and hoping it is enough. Darcy hears the sincerity in it. She knows this version of Nick is real. She forgives him and pulls him close, and he holds on.